welcome to the Karen Carrington Show. My name is Karen Carrington and I am your host. I am a talk show host, mental health advocate, certified personal development trainer. I am a certified cosmetologist, and I launched the Karen Carrington Show back in 2017. And the reason why I launched the show is because I'm a firm believer that stories make a difference. Stories matter. Everyone has a story, and I wanted to bring untold and unheard voices to the forefront. So guests from all walks of life share their ups and their downs and their vulnerabilities in a safe, judgment-free zone. And today, being season nine has been so wonderful so far. We've talked about so many things with my amazing guest, soul sister, friend, Casey Ramsaran. She is a transformational coach, a Reiki master, and she's here with me today. So Casey, do you want to join me? You good?
Yes, I do. Hello.
It's so good to see you. I love this journey we've been on for season 9. It's been all about your journey and the things you've been through and your wealth of knowledge. And we've talked about pain and we've talked about hurt and overcoming. So for those of us who may not know who you are, can you share with the audience exactly who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just kind of tag on to what you just said about, being a transformation coach and a Reiki master. And so really what that boils down is that I work with clients who are really ready to go on an inward journey to, confront themselves and to really look at themselves and to connect with themselves. And so I think until you don't take the time to do that, it's really hard for you to transform from the things that you don't realize you need to let go in order to transform. And so, part of my, I want to call it gifts as a energy worker is really being able to tap into that intuition and work with my clients in that way and bring to surface some of the hidden things I think that we all suppress and we don't realize that we're operating from that place. So for me, it's about creating a safe space, a judgment-free space, because I think we go to our friends and our family and we want everybody to hold space for us. And they cannot hold space for us the way that we want them to. And so that's my job, to be able to do that, to take the bias off, to take away the judgment, to create a safe space and allow people to take off their armor when they come.
I love that. And I love the way you said, that's my job. That's my gift. You are so good at your gift. Your clients always have raving reviews. I absolutely love what you do. You're very intuitive. You hold that space. And there's something that you said in there that I really want to touch on today. And that is friends and boundaries and family, because you said in there, we go to our friends and our family and they're really not the ones who are able to help us in the way that we need to. So can you explain to the viewers what you mean by that? Because there could be some people out there that are saying, hey, my family's there for me. Like they know what I need. They got my back. My family's good. So can you clarify what you mean that they may not be always the best option?
Yeah. And I'll speak from my experience. And this is also from, talking to my clients, because I think, a lot of times if you think about boundaries, sometimes we don't know how to set them because out of fear, right? Because you want the acceptance and you want people to hear you and you're so afraid to lose things, even the things that are not good for you, that you're not willing to enforce those boundaries. And so, when it comes to holding space and going to the friend and going to the bestie and going to your cousin or your aunt or your uncle or whoever it is, one thing I've realized is that I was asking the wrong people to hold space for me. I think we all have a support system, but it's when you get into the, what should I do? What do you think? And then people start to come at you with things from their perspective, right? It's always from their experience. And so you're asking somebody essentially what to do with your life. And then you start to people please Because if somebody tells you something and then it's not aligned to you, you don't know how to set that boundary to say, actually, I don't want to take that advice.
And then you take it out of, I like to say people pleasing is the 3 A's: approval, acceptance, and acknowledgement. You take it to be approved, but then you're not being authentic, right?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. And I had a situation with a friend that I've known for a really, really long time. And I think, as our world started to change, views started to change, and I think we all kind of embarked on this journey of, who am I? What am I? What do I stand for? And, with this friend, and I think it was a lot of them, but, just kind of zoning in on this example, and maybe a lot of people are feeling this right now. It got to a point where I wasn't able to express myself freely and my truth, and everybody thinks their truth is right. And I think so, right? I think we all have to own our truth, but it doesn't mean that your truth is better than mine, or yours is right and mine is wrong. And it got to a place where I had to kind of filter what I was saying. And then I had to take a step back and say, I don't like how this makes me feel anymore. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I feel like it doesn't matter what I say, that I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting, for this friend to just say, yeah, but.
Okay, I get it. So every time you would share, you were waiting for the challenge, for the rebuttal. So you felt like, now, what made you still want to share? Like, even though you knew there was friction or there was that reluctance or resistance, what was that thing that makes some of us still feel obligated to share?
Because I think a lot of us try to see the best in everybody. And we try to convince ourselves that if we just keep going, that eventually they'll get it, or eventually, they'll hear us or they'll see us. And then for me, it got to a point where when I really checked in with myself about how it was making me feel, and the anxiety, right? We talked about anxiety, and it was having the anxiety around, I don't know what to say, and I don't know whatever, how is this going to come across? And then you start to have these dialogues in your head about, you prepare so much mentally and it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. And that's where I had to say, I got to set some boundaries, because if I don't do this, I'm going to give away my power every single time. Every single time, I'm just going to say, take it.
Yeah. And, you brought up something, for those of you who are watching, we talked about anxiety in the other episode. And if you guys missed it, you have to really catch that episode. Season 9 is all about journey. And I know there's so much going on in the world today. And that's why I created this series. It's about all the things that we're facing, from anxiety to boundaries to relationships. And what you said about anxiety, it's so relevant, not just to what's going on in our personal life, but what's going on with our friendships, in our business. And yeah, friendships can bring anxiety, a lot of anxiety, because we're worried, if we said the wrong thing, if a friend doesn't text us back, did we say too much? Mm-hmm. Did we not say enough? Yeah. Did you ever have a time where you actually had to cut it off completely? Was that the case?
Yeah. And I've actually been doing that a lot in the last year specifically. And I got to tell you, at first it was hard, because you're like, oh no, like, you're literally making a decision for yourself at this point. And it takes a lot of courage to be selfish in the right way, and to be selfish for you, and to serve yourself first versus serving others. Mm-hmm. And it was a friendship for over 10 years. And I really had to say to myself, is this person going to be with me And I know we like to think that everybody's going to be with us forever, but I'm sorry. I'm not friends with the kindergarten person. I'm not friends, with the high school person. And somehow I think as we get older, we convince ourselves that the people that we're with now, we're going to carry all of them, at the end. And I had to stop and say, this is bringing you so much anxiousness and it's taking away from you. Casey, is this person going to be in your life when you're 50 or 60? And I had to kind of look at it from that perspective. And then when I looked at it from that perspective, I said, oh, I don't think so. So why on earth am I giving this so much power? And I just had to cut this friendship off. And I said, hey, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for everything that we were able to give to each other up until it didn't serve us anymore.
Did you feel anxiety before you had that conversation? Yeah. I was like, girl.
I did a little bit. And then I was like, oh, no, you don't. You take back your power and you take it back now.
Were you anxious what she might say or he or she? Is that what it was? Like anxious that you might have made the wrong decision? Where was the anxiety?
No, I had a little bit of anxiety leading up to it. But then that was the thing that said to me, the fact that you feel anxious about it should be the reason why you should.
Oh. Okay. So that feeling of, can we call it fear? Was it excitement? What's that? If you had to explain anxiety in another word, what was it? Second doubting? What was it?
It was, it goes back to the rejection, right? I mean, from my stories, right? Like not being accepted, not being loved, not being heard, not being seen, having somebody say, okay, well, it's you. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take a stance and I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to do something that makes me feel good. And this does not serve me. And I had to be honest with myself. And I'm like, do I want to beg or do I want to chase a friendship? Do I want to put in all this effort? And I had to, again, season and a reason.
Yeah, there's a season for everything. What about those boundaries where we go to our family members and they put down our dreams, or they're not supportive, or they don't really believe in what we're doing? What do you recommend in that situation to your clients if they have a family member who's just not on board with what you want to do? And if someone close to you, like your sister or your husband, or what do? Cut them off? How does that work?
Yeah, and it goes to limiting beliefs, because we'll all operate from a place up until what we believe. And so with family members in particular, everybody comes with their trauma. And this is what I say to my clients all the time, is that you have to remember the people that you go to, especially your family, they all come with their traumas and their limiting beliefs. They're going to project that onto you, because in their mind, that's if they haven't done it, then you can't do it. And then you start to believe that, well, I guess that's it. I guess that means that I can't do it either. And you have to make a decision for myself. Am I going to take control, or am I going to continuously allow somebody else to tell me based on their experience and based on their limiting beliefs that I can or can't do something? And if you listen to any motivational speaker, they'll all tell you they had so many people say to them, you can't. And then you have to make that decision to say, oh, but I can.
Oh, but I can. Casey, I just know there's a lot of people, that say, but it's not that easy to cut off family that are there for you. These are, it's your mother that you live with them. You have to live with that every day. You see what I'm saying? That's not easy to just cut off. So what's your suggestion if it's someone it's your husband or whatever? How do you set that boundary with someone you're married to or live with, or your own children?
I got to tell you, I have done that a lot with a lot of family members. I'm being honest. And I know it's hard, and I've been there. And this is my view.
Yes.
I think we have to remember that, we are assigned to a family. We're assigned to people when we're here on this earth. And sometimes we let that get in our way, and we feel the sense of responsibility for carrying everybody and taking on their pain and the guilt that comes with not putting yourself first. And I think that regardless of who it is, if you cannot learn to take responsibility for yourself, you will continue to suffer every single day, every step of the way. And I get that family is a big part of who we are, but they're no different than the friend or anybody else. At the end of the day, if anybody, I know that you've heard this too. I think we've all heard it, but we don't really sit and think about it. Anybody who takes away from your peace, anybody that you let control and dictate and, allow you to live for them instead of living for yourself, you might as well, what's the point? So this really, for me, just boils down to making a decision as to putting myself first and being unapologetic about it. And that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, I understand it's hard to not talk to the mom or the dad because they're your mom or dad, but they're causing you pain day in and day out. And no one's saying that you can't eventually repair that connection, but you got to take yourself out of it and you got to pour into you first. So that when you know how to deal with your pain, you can hold pain for other people. They say hurt people.
Hurt people.
Right?
Yep, you got it. Hurt
but
people.
Heal people.
But heal people. Yo, I love that. Heal people. You know what? And that takes me to, because as you were going, girl, like we just got questions coming in and you're you're expert in your field. As you guys know on the Karen Carrington Show, I take questions from my audience and it's a community friendly, judgment free zone. Okay. So got a question for you here, Casey. Let's see if we could all answer this together. And guys who are listening, feel free to chime in your answer. It is, one second, where is it? Lily from Jamaica. Hey, Karen, thanks for taking my question. I confided in my friend about my business idea, and she never really was happy for me and never congratulated me. The next thing I know, she posts the same idea on social media. This hurts me so damn much. What the hell? Okay. So Casey, got Lily from Jamaica, shared her business idea with her friend. Friend never supported her. Next thing she knows, the business idea is all over Instagram. Mm-hmm. What should Lily do, in your opinion?
I mean, having this happen to us so many times, and I mean, maybe not stealing the idea, and I mean, that's a whole other thing. I mean, if you're going to tell somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, if you're going to tell somebody your idea and then they go and take it, let them take it. Because guess what? They're not you. There's room for the table for every person, and your ego will tell you, oh, how dare they, and all this stuff. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. You're not the only person doing that idea. Let's be honest. Okay. You might have an idea and somebody else might have the same idea, and you don't even know about the other person on the other side of the world that might be doing the exact same thing as you're doing. But you're the person who brings the magic. So I would say, if they want to take it, let it take it. That's on them. That's not on you.
True. What does she do with the friend? What does she do with so the friend goes with the idea. What does she do with the friend?
You have two options at that point, is what I would say. You already know, based on that there is no trust at that point. Okay. And sometimes, if you want to vent and you want to do all these things, and I would have a conversation with this person, as hard as it is, because this is how you build your power, is by being vocal, by expressing yourself, by standing up for yourself and saying, I don't like what you did. I don't like what you did. I trusted you. And that's okay if you don't want to celebrate me, because let's face it, not your closest friends and family, they're not the people who will support you and celebrate you. 9 out of 10 times, they won't. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There really isn't. because there's plenty more people else who will support you. But when somebody hurts you like that, when trust comes into play, all these things, you have two options. You either do something about it, you talk about it, right? And you walk away.
So do something, talk about it, walk away. What
Yeah.
I admire about you is you're so direct. You're like, I don't like how that made me feel. And that's something I really want to take up on our next episode is how, Casey, because it's really not easy for a lot of people to just go to someone saying, I don't like how you made me feel. I don't like what you did to me. A lot of people prefer to, avoid the conflict,
Yeah.
avoid and run away from the conflict. They don't talk to the person ever again. There's unresolved relationships. We've got unresolved friendships. You never hear from the person. And the person who did it to you might not even know that you feel that way. They may not even know that they think that they stole your business. And that's what a lot of us need to work on is having that open communication and dialogue with courage and knowing to stand in your power. And so that's why I love you, Casey, is you always recommend how to stand in our power. We're going to discuss that next episode about how do we have these tough but much needed conversations.
And I promise it gets better. I promise it gets better. The more you do it, it really, really does. You'll shake the first few times, but I promise you, it gets better.
And it gets easier and it gets easier. Casey, thank you so much. I
Thank
love you. We all love you. Thank you so much for that power episode. Season 9 is like on fire. And guys, as you all know, on the Karen Carrington Show, we always end off with an affirmation from my book. And I just want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you who have purchased it. It is on Amazon. It's $20. It's about my life story. It has 111 affirmations in there, a self-help workbook, and a free journal at the back. So thank you in advance. Today, the affirmation that I chose, I don't like to play favorites, but this one means a lot to me. Affirmation number 52. So for all of you that have it, let's go to affirmation number 52. And it says, I will resist the urge to contact someone in my past that should not be in my present. I'm going to repeat that. I will resist the urge to contact someone that is in my past that should not be in my present. A lot of times there's people in our past that we want to go back to that we may have let go. We set our boundaries, like we were talking about today, setting our boundaries and walking away. And sometimes I understand that urge comes back to go back there and to want to contact them. But when you release someone or something that no longer serves you, I want to encourage you and remind you to stand in your power and be okay with your decision. Be confident in your decision. And today is a new day. It's a fresh start. Don't look back, just forward. So that is it for the Karen Carrington Show. I just want to thank my amazing guest, Casey. I want to thank my sponsors. Thank you so much for making this possible. I value you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the production team. I just appreciate everything that you do. And most importantly, thank you to the listeners and viewers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. That's it for me for today. We'll see you next episode, season 9. Same place, same energy, same positive vibes. Love you.